Hey everyone, welcome back to Dad Mode, God, Grit, and Goals. I'm your host, Mike Tobias, and today we're going to be diving into episode 2 of our series titled How to Build Strong Family Values, Simple Habits for Lasting Legacy. So in this series, we've been unpacking what I've called the Family Compass, which is a framework of principles and habits designed to help families navigate life with purpose and intention. So think of these as practical tools to keep your family's decisions, actions, values all aligned, even when life pulls you in 100 different directions. So each episode in this series breaks down a different piece of the family compass, and each one a decision filter that helps keep your family moving forward toward what truly matters. And back in episode 1, we explored the foundational filter, which we called the true north. We talked about the importance of defining a guiding vision for your family, the highest aim that anchors everything else. So true north is like that compass needle that points to your family's purpose, the mission you come back to again and again to stay grounded and unified. So if you haven't listened to episode 1, I highly recommend going back and giving it a listen. I've put it in a playlist on YouTube. And True North sets the tone for the entire series, so you want to make sure you've got that because each episode builds on the next. So today we're going to be moving to the next essential component we call key vectors. And once have your True North established, the question becomes, how do we keep moving toward it? Life's full of distractions, work, school, sports, social events, all these things. While they're good, they can sometimes scatter us away from our highest aim. So that's where key vectors come in. These are the 3 to 4 lifelong commitments to act as they act like your family's anchor, grounding you and keeping you aligned with your true north. So in this episode, we're going to dive into what key vectors are, how to identify them, and how to make them part of your family's daily life. And by the end, you're going to have practical steps to choose and prioritize these commitments, ensuring that your family stays focused on what matters. So let's get started. If true north is the guiding vision for your family, the direction you're committed to heading, then key vectors are these qualities that help you stay on course. They're the defining principles or pillars, if you will, that shape your family's identity. And they ensure you're consistently moving towards that highest aim. So what exactly are key vectors? Think of them as your 3 to 4 foundational qualities that define what your family stands for. They aren't just actions or one-time goals. They're actually enduring characteristics that reflect your core values and guide the choices your family makes over time. So key vectors, a vector is a directed line. They serve as the lenses or filters for decisions, helping you stay aligned with your true north. So let me give you an example. Let's take a look at Apple, the company. So remember, I built all of these filters in the business world, and then I applied them to my family. And so when you think of Apple computer, some defining qualities come to mind. What might they be? You could take a guess at that. I'll let you think about that for a second. But when I think about it, I think of 3 things. I think of simplicity, beauty, and practicality. These aren't just ideas. Apple has embedded these qualities into everything they do. Simplicity guides them to create products that don't require a manual. I think I've never seen an Apple product that had a manual. Beauty drives the quality of their product, their packaging, and the care they put into designing products that are ready to use straight out of the box. You don't need to charge your phone to get it to work the first time. It's already charged. Like, they've just made everything so simple. And practical technology is at the core of their ecosystem. Many people don't know. They didn't invent a lot of new things. MP3 players already existed. They made it practical. Put 1,000 songs in your pocket. It's the core of their ecosystem. So with devices that are designed to integrate seamlessly into our everyday life, that's why they can build a watch, a phone, and a computer. I mean, no other company has that breadth of product. So in the same way, your family's key vectors are qualities that shape who you are and what you're going to prioritize. So let me give you an example. If your true north involves building a faith-centered family, one key vector might be faith itself, influencing choices like praying together or participating in worship. If connection is essential to your family's identity, then connection becomes a vector that guides you to prioritize time together, like family meals or weekend activities. So these key vectors create a steady rhythm for your family life. They don't just keep you on track, they help build a family culture that's resilient, connected, and focused on what matters most. And over time, these qualities become part of who you are as a family and guiding you even when life feels chaotic or uncertain. So I use them this way. If we've got a decision to make, is this thing that we're going to do, this thing that we're going to invest in, is this going to help strengthen our key vectors? Because if it does, then that's a possible yes. But if it's not going to do then that's a possible no. We're not going to spend time, energy, and effort in that direction. So I'm going to walk through and just give you some practical examples here. But now that you know what key vectors are, foundational qualities and pillars that define your family, let's talk about how to identify them for your own family. So this part can be a powerful process and a fun process, depending on the age of your kids. So if they're really young, you're going to probably just do this with your wife. But if they're a little bit older, include them in on it. So I always get started by gathering the family and begin with some open discussions and asking questions like, what are the values that bring us together? What qualities do we want to be known for as a family? And you can talk about other families. What do you admire in them? There's a lot of ways to just bring this about, but it's about uncovering those qualities that naturally resonate with everyone. Another question might be, what kind of legacy do we want to leave? Or when people think of our family, what do we want them to see? These questions can reveal shared values that sometimes go unspoken, but are deeply felt. So as you talk, certain qualities or themes are going to start to emerge. And here's some examples of key vectors that might resonate with your family. So let me just walk through 5 or 6 examples. So first, faith. If faith is at the center of your family's true north, you might choose this as a guiding quality. It can inspire regular practices like family prayer, attending worship, reading scripture together. And I know one family that chose faith as their central vector. They commit to praying together each morning before everyone heads out for the day. It starts as a quick prayer, but turned into something they all rely on for strength and connection. That daily ritual became an anchor for them, reminding each family member that they're supported in faith no matter what the challenge the day brings. Another idea might be service. If helping others is a core part of your family's identity, then service can be a key vector. This might include regular volunteering, community outreach, or simply looking out for others in need. So there's another family I know that holds a monthly service day. So they go out as a family and they go serve. They take turns choosing a project, whether it's visiting a local shelter or picking up litter in the neighborhood or preparing meals for families in need. It's just a fun family tradition for them, and also reinforces the value of serving others, making compassion a defining trait of their family. Another idea might be learning. If your family values personal growth and education, learning can be a key vector. This could mean prioritizing reading, continuous learning, or even exploring new skills and hobbies together. There's a family who treats learning as a lifelong adventure. Every Friday they do family knowledge night, which is kind of crazy. And as I understand it, someone shares a new skill or interesting fact that they've learned, from building model rockets to learning Spanish phrases. It becomes a weekly tradition that reflects their commitment to growth and discovery. Connection might be another example. If spending quality time together is important, then connection may be one of your key vectors. This could guide you to prioritize family meals, game nights, or trips that allow everyone to bond and create shared memories. A new one for me, health and wellness. For families who prioritize physical and mental well-being, health can be a key vector. This might look like making healthy meal choices, exercising together, creating a home environment that supports mental health. Another might be adventure. If your family's true north includes exploring and experiencing life, adventure might be a key vector. This could translate to regular travel, outdoor activities, or trying new things together and build resilience and shared experience. So these examples show how key vectors can be qualities that reflect what's most important to your family. They're pillars that bring you closer to your true north and guide your actions and decisions. So now here's the key. Your key vectors should align directly with your family's true north. If your true north is about cultivating a family centered in faith, then faith might be that. If community and compassion are central to your vision, then commitment to service may be one of your guiding qualities. The goal is choose key vectors that are deeply connected to your family's highest aim. And this alignment ensures that your actions and choices consistently reflect your vision, bringing stability and purpose to your family's journey. Now, I know it can be tempting to choose a lot of different ones, and I've just found that people don't remember 10 items. It's too much. So try and narrow it down to 3 or 4. These should be qualities that are feasible, impactful, sustainable for your family over the long term. Focus on the qualities that are going to truly define your family's identity and guide your decisions, big and small. Think of it like pruning a tree. You're choosing a few strong branches that are going to bear fruit over time, instead of just trying to spread your energy across too many things. By focusing on a few key areas, you give those qualities the space to grow deeply into your family's culture. And once you've identified these key vectors, you're ready to start integrating them into your family's routines and decisions. So I'm going to dive into that next. Okay, so the next step is bringing these key vectors to life. It's one thing to talk about qualities like faith or connection or discipline, but it's another to weave them into the everyday rhythms of your family's life. So this is where your key vectors shift from being ideas to becoming defining elements of your family culture. And remember, culture is what your family experiences. So I'm going to share some examples from our own family to illustrate how key vectors can shape day-to-day life. And so one of our guiding principles is Tobias's do hard things. So this phrase is simple, but it's powerful. It reminds us that discipline isn't about waiting until we feel like doing something. It's about showing up and doing what needs to be done, especially when it's challenging or inconvenient. So I wanted to take discipline as a key vector, but make it really practical and give my kids an identity about discipline. And those words just resonate. So we don't talk about you need to be disciplined. We just say Tobias's do hard things. We use this saying across all kinds of situations. It's a reminder that whether it's something small, like brushing your teeth when you're tired, when the whining goes on, it's like, remember, Tobias's do hard things. Or something bigger, like tackling a tough project. We do what needs to be done. So, for instance, if one of the kids isn't feeling like taking their medicine, we did this with our grandson the other day, we just remind them, Tobias's do hard things. And then we praise him. Good job. It reframes the task as a moment of discipline, reinforcing that we don't just follow our feelings. We follow our values. Or consider a moment as simple as getting up on a cold morning to exercise. No one necessarily feels like doing it, but that phrase, Tobias's do hard things, becomes a cue, almost like a personal motto. It's a way of reminding ourselves that we push through the discomfort to stay committed to what's good for us. Whether it's finishing homework, sticking with chores, or even helping out when it's inconvenient, this phrase has become a touchstone for all of us. And this saying shapes our family's approach to discipline in a practical, relatable way. Over time, it becomes more than just a phrase. It's a mindset that reinforces resilience, responsibility, and the ability to follow through, no matter the challenge. So to keep key vectors like this active and impactful, it helps to make them a regular part of the family's rhythm. Start small, incorporating them into your daily or weekly routines. Do hard things can show up in little ways, like reminding ourselves to clean up after a long day, even when we don't feel like it. It's the regularity of these small actions that builds strength and character over time. And as parents, especially as dads, it's essential to model these values ourselves. Your kids are watching, and they learn a lot from seeing us live out these commitments. So I'll warn you, if do hard things is a guiding principle, you got to make it a point to share moments when I'm pushing myself to do something challenging, like sticking with a difficult task at work or tackling a home project, even when I'd rather relax. Seeing us follow through reinforces value in a real tangible way. My grandson came in the other morning. He was staying with us while my son was out on his honeymoon. And, I was doing my normal routine, and he said, "Pops, you work out every morning, don't you?" I said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "I'm going to call you Mr. Workout." I was like, "Hey, thanks, buddy." They see us do hard things. And I don't like working out. I like having had worked out, right? It's the discipline. Another key to keeping key vectors alive is involving every family member. So back to my do hard things example, something that everyone can participate in by sharing times when they've done something hard, even if it was just brushing your teeth after a long day. We encourage each other. We share stories. We celebrate these small moments of discipline. And it builds a culture of mutual support and shared responsibility, and we all feel invested in the value. That's really important, I think. So by making key vectors an active part of daily life, you're creating more than just a routine. This isn't just some sign on the wall or on your refrigerator. You're building a family culture that's intentional, that's resilient, and you want to anchor it in what matters most. And over time, these qualities become second nature, shaping the character and identity of each family member. So let's move on and talk about ways to keep these strong and adaptable as your family grows. Because once your family's identified and started living out these key vectors, the work doesn't end there. Like anything that truly matters, these foundational qualities need ongoing care to stay strong and adaptable as your family grows and changes. One of the best ways to reinforce your key vectors is by celebrating small moments and milestones that keep these values fresh and alive. So another one of our family vectors is gratitude. So to make this real in our everyday life, we've a simple tradition around the dinner table. So each evening, we'd go around the table and share the best thing that happened to me today, and became a chant. And each child took a turn. The best thing that happened to me today. That's literally how they would start, and the rest of the kids would go, "Hey." And they'd share something that was good. It forces us to focus on the positive. Now, we may have a discussion about something that didn't go well that day, but we always want to make sure we do talk about what did go well. It's not about finding something extraordinary every time, too, because it's going to be tough sometimes. Sometimes the best thing might be a simple conversation or a good meal or just a quiet moment. But by doing this daily, we're building a habit of looking for the good, of appreciating life's small blessings. And that's where the power lies. We just had an election, and it went the perfect way for some and the terrible way for others. And we've got to look for the good. We've got to look for the good. So if it didn't go your way, we got to look for the good. And also, if it did go your way, help others look for the good. Don't just battle. Just help them see the good. It reminds us to really just reflect our true north, the family vision that we want to live by. Cultivating gratitude. It builds that culture that values faith and humility and resilience. It reminds us to stay grounded in the good, especially on those challenging days. So this tradition also opens the door to some incredible family conversations. I remember one night when my youngest son's best thing was simply being together at the table. His words made us all pause and realize how much we treasure that time. Just kids laughing around the table. Now that my kids are grown and gone, we miss that. And it's so fun when we have family gatherings again now, and just how much laughter there is. And to see my kids doing that with their families now. We live in this fast-paced world, and if you're not making time together at a meal, you're missing out. And we had to shift from dinners to breakfast because too many evening and after-school events made it really difficult. But we're all home in the morning, so we shifted. I can't overemphasize these small moments of connection. They become profound, reminding us why we're committed to this habit. And as your family grows, traditions like this can evolve too. Sometimes we'll add a twist, like sharing one thing we're thankful for about each person at the table, or even reflecting on a meaningful moment for the week. We had what we call special plate day. So we literally had a red plate that said, "You're special today." And, easy to do on their birthdays, but you could find other days to do it. It's amazing how little changes like that keep the practice fresh and meaningful. So this approach has helped us make gratitude more than just a nice idea for a family, but it's become a way of living that strengthens us individually and as a family unit. So if gratitude's a value you'd like to strengthen in your own family, I encourage you to start with a small habit just like this. It doesn't need to be complicated, but making space to celebrate the positives can have a powerful ripple effect on your family's mindset and connection over time. So remember, key vectors aren't just principles to talk about. They're qualities that shape your family's character and the legacy that you're building together. So by celebrating, adapting, and sharing, you're ensuring that these values stay vibrant. And we want to make sure they're meaningful. And as I'm looking forward now, even across generations. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to revisit why key vectors are so important. They're more than just qualities or goals. They're the pillars that are going to shape your family's identity. They're going to ground you in what matters most. Each key vector is a piece of the legacy you're building, a piece of that bigger picture, your true north. When we take that time to define these guiding qualities and incorporate them into your lives, they're going to become steady anchors that are keeping you focused and unified as a family. They're what keeps us strong when life throws challenges our way and what bring us together during the good times too. They give our kids a sense of what our family stands for and help us as parents stay intentional in how we lead. So to all the fathers, mothers, and family leaders listening, don't underestimate the power of living by these key vectors. Start with the qualities that feel true to you and true to your family, that align with your vision of your true north. The real magic happens when these values become more than words and are actively lived out in your daily routines and conversations and choices. So I'd love to hear about your family's journey with this. What key vectors resonate with your family? How are you integrating these values into your daily life? And feel free to reach out on social media or drop me a message here on YouTube. Your stories might inspire others as they work to build their own family compass. So in the next episode, we're going to dive into the third filter in the family compass called home turf. We're going to talk about creating a home environment that reflects your values, a safe and nurturing space that shields your family from negative influences and keeps you aligned with your true north. I can't wait to explore this with you. So I'm going to leave you with this. Building a family on purpose is one of the most impactful things you can do as a father. Proverbs 22:6 reminds us, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Our key vectors are part of that training, part of the values we pass down to shape future generations. So thanks for joining me today, and until next time, stay focused, stay intentional, and keep building your family. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode of Dad Mode, God, Grit, and Goals. And remember our 4 core truths. God is good. Jesus has forgiven me. I am loved, and everything is possible. Have a great day.